Good morning, everyone. I'm Chris Canavan, class of '84, parent of an OB and incoming board chair. It's nice to see all of you students, faculty, alums, staff, community leaders here to this wonderful morning. This morning, we will do what Oberlin has only done 14 times before, and that is to introduce to you our next president. It's the end of a process that started in October when Clyde, the current board chair, impaneled a search committee. And I want to thank all of you on the presidential search committee, and I'd like to name them: Adrian Batista, there you are, Jennifer Bryan, Jennifer, Gifty, I'm sure she's online, working away. Carol Levine, Will Lewis, Jan Miyake, Jeremy Poe, Bill Robinson, and I would especially like to thank Lily Lily Edwards, our indefatigable chair, who led us in meetings in New York and in Oberlin and in Cleveland, and over breakfast and over lunch and over drinks, and through a process that had us get in touch with 150 or more prospects and then submit dozens of those to proper Oberlin inquisition, and then cut that list down and then cut that list down again until finally there was one. This, for me, was a very humbling experience. I met incredibly talented people along the way, and people who had a fervent commitment to the liberal arts. And so for me, it was a very rewarding experience. I learned a lot about the candidates. I also learned a lot about Oberlin, who we are, who we think we are, what we want, what we think we want, what we say we want, but we don't really think we want. And I will miss that time, and I will miss spending time with my colleagues on the search committee a great deal. I've been asked to say a few words about the importance of being an Oberlin president, so I will try to give some context. Oberlin is in its 184th year, and over that time we've had 14 presidents. So to put that in context, during that same time, there have been, I've got some numbers off the web, there have been 86 prime ministers of Italy. There have been 39 US presidents, and I'm not going to carry that any further. There have been 34 managers of the Yankees. When Marvin became president, Beyonce had the #1 hit. When Nancy Dye was president, a band called the Ace of Base had the #1 hit. I must have lost my Sony Walkman that year, because when Fred Starr was president, it was the Police, and when Emil Dannenberg was president, it was the Captain and Tennille, who I think deserve a revival, in my humble opinion. The Emancipation Proclamation was 12 presidents ago. Women's suffrage was 9 presidents ago. The Civil Rights Act was just 6 presidents ago, and the Berlin Wall fell just 3 presidents ago. So that context is important, I think, because it gives us some sense of the weight of an Oberlin presidency. And it also means that we don't have to look very far back to find milestones in our history, in our own personal history, in our country's and our world's history, to anchor our place and Oberlin's place. So being the president of Oberlin is a big deal, in my opinion. But of course, we have a new president who can handle it. After all, she doesn't have to look very far back, just to her father, who, when he was young, picked cotton in a part of Arkansas known as the Dark Corner, but then went on to become a school principal, a mother who had kids and then got a PhD and chaired a department at the University of Arkansas. By those standards, our new president is positively modern, She went to Georgetown, Princeton, Columbia. She was an assistant dean at Princeton, a dean at Douglas College, and on her way to becoming the president of a small liberal arts college, and only then did she have triplets. So I think we're in very good hands. We will have a lot of opportunities over the coming days, weeks, and months to get to know her much better, so I don't feel I need to elaborate much more. I think it really just falls to me now to introduce to you the 15th president of Oberlin College, Carmen Ambar.
So I can't tell you how excited I am to be joining the Oberlin community. And I have to tell you that I am eminently excited, just immensely pleased to be working with you and thinking collaboratively with you about the Oberlin's next era, with our alumni, our faculty, our staff, and our students. I'm just excited about joining this community. So let me do some things first. I need to thank a few people before I talk about what I think our work is together. The first is Chris and Lily. They have been sort of the images of what Oberlin is for me as I've gone through this process. The work of finding a college president is challenging. And it's challenging for any institution. You have to balance various constituencies, you have to balance interests, you have to do all that hard work. And just to remind you all, that's volunteer work. As I think Lily said to me the other day, that it was about 30 hours a week for weeks and weeks and weeks. So I just want to thank you both personally for your commitment to me, for your help through this process, but also your dedication and commitment. And the same goes for the search committee and all the people that I met through this process. It really looked seamless to me from the outside. Maybe it wasn't on the inside, but it was seamless to me. And I cannot thank you enough for the opportunity. I also wanted to take a moment to thank Marvin. So this fraternity of college presidents is actually fairly small. And there's no one that quite knows what it is to be a college president other than another college president. You are so dedicated to the success of the institution. You weather the challenges. You revel in the victories. And what you really want from your successor is someone that cares about it as much as you do, that is as passionate as you are. And so I promise you, Marvin, that I will do as good a job as I can to take your good work and take it into its next era, because I know what it means to have really another child. That's what an institution is. It is someone that you care about deeply and you want its success to continue. So I will try to do that good work. So, let me tell you what attracted me to Oberlin, what drew me to this institution. So Oberlin is a singular institution in higher education. It simply is factually accurate, that is singular. That you are really the only place that has combined both academic and musical excellence and the commitment to the liberal arts, intertwined with that commitment to social justice, to equity, to access, to opportunity. There's really no institution in the country that's done that the way Oberlin has done. And it was that intertwined mission that drew me. In some ways, it is in my DNA. It is in my DNA. So Chris talked a little bit about my parents. So my parents happen to be here with me. My parents are in the front row. as Chris said, my mom grew up in a small town in Arkansas, Searcy, Arkansas. And she was a little black girl in that small town, and somehow she got into her mind to go and get a PhD in dance and related arts. There were no images to look to know that what she wanted to achieve was possible. I always say to her, it was simply divine intervention, right? And my mom, I got a chance to see my mom do that when I was a little bit younger. And watching my mom in that pursuit demonstrated to me that a life of the mind and family life could exist in the same human being, could exist in this woman, could exist in this woman of color. That's what she taught me. So on my dad's side of the family, there's actually not much formal education before my dad goes on to college. And my dad grew up in Colt, Arkansas, as Chris said, but it was referred to in that pejorative way that you refer to African-American enclaves in that era as dark corner. That's how it was referred to. And my dad grew up picking cotton all of his formative years. And he would say to me that he would look up, just imagine the deep South, the heat, and he would look up from the hot beating sun as he was out there picking cotton. And he would say to himself, I don't know what I want to do, but I know I don't want to do this. So my dad, because he had an opportunity, to go to college and to go on to graduate school, he not only changed his personal trajectory, but he changed his family's trajectory. So I'm one generation removed from picking cotton. I have an older brother who's a physician. I have a younger brother who's a teacher. We are one generation removed from picking cotton. We're 5 generations removed from slavery. And my dad had an opportunity to change his trajectory and to change my trajectory because I have the opportunity to be the 15th president of Oberlin College. So those intertwined missions, academic excellence, social justice, equity, access, opportunity, that is in my DNA. That's in my DNA. I'm deeply committed to that work. So now here's the challenge before us. We're in a rapidly changing environment. The landscape of higher education is shifting under our feet. So how do we keep that mission? How do we embrace it? But how do we move on to the things that we need to be even as we sustain that mission? That's the challenge before us. How do we hold on to the core of who we are, but not so much so that we don't embrace who we need to be? That's the challenge before us. But here's what I know. Here's what I know. There is no institution in the world that is better prepared for that challenge than Oberlin. This is good work. This is good work. This is challenging work in all the right ways. And the other thing I know for sure is that there is absolutely no other institution that I would rather do that good work with than Oberlin College. So as I said from the beginning, I'm excited. My spouse is excited. The triplets are excited. They're ready to come. They said to me the other night that their only challenge was they were going to have to learn Ohio history. They knew Pennsylvania history. Now they got to learn Ohio's history. But I told them that there are great people, people who are dedicated to a mission that we care about as a family, and that they will be here to welcome them as you have welcomed me. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I look forward to our great work together. Thank you.
Thank you, President Ambar. It's hard to follow that. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, I'm honored to be part of this historic announcement, and I'm thrilled to offer my welcome to the 15th president of Oberlin College. Since 1833, Oberlin has distinguished itself as a champion of learning, inquiry, and creativity, pursuits which lend themselves to our continued mission to innovate and advance. Embracing change has been our hallmark, and we are more prepared than ever to effect change, both here at the college and beyond our campus, empowered by the completion of a very successful capital campaign and a comprehensive strategic plan. So we're delighted, President Ambar, that you will be leading the way as we embark on Oberlin's next chapter. Now, this is my 6th and final year as chair of the Board of Trustees, and one thing I have finally learned in that time period is how to delegate. And I think I did a great job with 2 people flanking us on the outside here. And I just have to express my incredible gratitude to everyone who was on the search committee, but in particular to my friend and almost classmate, Lily Edwards, who is the trustee who I have found never says no when I ask her to do something. And Lily, thank you so much for your efforts, and Chris also for picking up this mantle here. And I'd also like to extend my gratitude to the individual who has positioned us so wonderfully for continued future success. Marvin Krislov's boundless energy, commitment, and enthusiasm as president of Oberlin College have moved the college forward through even the most challenging of times. He's never settled for less than his best and would not allow Oberlin to strive for less than its best either. Marvin, it has been an honor to serve with you as a colleague and as a friend. So I'd like to introduce to you Oberlin's 14th president, Marvin Krislov.
So President Ambar, she just gave me permission to call her Carmen. We are so excited to have you and your family join the Oberlin family. Oberlin really is a big, extended family, as you will find, stretching from coast to coast and across the world. And one of the great pleasures of my time here has been not only getting to know these wonderful people in the room, and these are people who work tirelessly day in, day out to make Oberlin great, but also our alumni and friends. And some of them are watching now on webcast, so you are here with us as well. This is a wonderful, wonderful community, a wonderful team of scholars and learners, and our students aren't here right now, but one of the great joys of my time here, and I know will be one of your great joys, is getting to know and work with our students who are passionate about changing the world and making a difference, and who are academically committed to their studies and to also just really asking the big questions. And there's a sense of yearning and a sense to try to make the world better that is really extraordinary. And I know that you will enjoy that and will funnel you through the time. So anyway, we are so happy to welcome you here. And I want to give you a little gift, including a signed reading. I can give you one assignment as an outgoing president. And that includes 2 of my favorite books, Oberlin History and Oberlin Architecture. I hope you will get to appreciate them as much as I have. Welcome. And now it's my pleasure to introduce someone who's already been mentioned, but I want to add my gratitude to Lily Edwards, co-chair of the Presidential Search Committee.
So, everyone, exhale. I know you've been holding your breath with me. I know you have maybe had some sleepless nights with me. And so now we come together today to celebrate bringing Carmen Twillie Ambar into the Oberlin family. This has been a journey of the past 8 months, almost 9, and you know the significance of that. And it has been exhilarating as well as exhausting. It has required all of our learning and labor, and especially for the members of the Presidential Search Committee, who Chris has named and for whom I am so grateful. I'm also thankful to all of you, the Oberlin family, for your support and your patience, and most of all, your trust. We know that, as Michelle Obama said, you do indeed run toward the noise. And I know that with this presidential search, you ran towards us and you met silence. Complete and total silence. And you respected that silence. And I'm grateful for that. And I'd especially like to thank Oberlin's Student Senate and the writers of the Oberlin Review who called me, who asked questions, and who at the same time respected that silence. And I just wanted everyone in this room to know just how wonderful, as always, our students are. So thank you all for respecting that silence. And in that silence, you know, the work moved forward. I thank you also for giving me this honor and opportunity. I'm grateful for a spouse who was willing to do all that chauffeuring to Newark Airport over and over again, and I have promised him he can attend every party. But I am truly grateful for the honor. If you'd like to, just for a moment, come to a Presidential Search Committee meeting, as you've all been thinking about it, I want you to imagine walking into a room with 11 people, and you don't know who's a trustee. You don't know who the student is, except it's probably the youngest person in the room. You don't know who's representing the Alumni Leadership Council. You don't know who the faculty are. You don't know who the representative for the administration and staff is in that room. Because when you walk into that room, you hear a love for all of Oberlin. People who love the conservatory. People who honor the alumni who take our mission out into the world and continue it forever. People who respect the life of learning and scholarship and teaching of the faculty in the conservatory and in the college. People who know and understand that very often behind the scenes, all of you are making this place work and work well. In that room, everyone cares about students, what they learn, how they live, how they grow, what they bring to Oberlin to make it what it is and will be. And that is the way the Presidential Search Committee worked. There were no trustees or alumni or students or staff or faculty. We were just all Oberlin family who cared so much about this place and its future, and we care about its present and all of you. So it was indeed a work of learning and labor, but it was also a work of love. And for that, I am grateful. And now, you all get a chance to help me welcome our new president, Carmen Twillie Ambar, and to meet her and talk with her, not all at once, you have some time. But please join us in welcoming her and having refreshments, beginning to get to know her. And thank you again.